Right.
Uh, 3 weeks after George Floyd was martyred, I want to know what hikmat do you see? What do you think is building up right now? And then in my second question, I'm going to follow it up with a comparison with our own revolution in Iran. But what's going on? 3 weeks after that happened, it's as if the police have learned no lesson. And this time they're just as brutal as they were 3 weeks ago, and even more arrogant. Please decipher or analyze what happened in Atlanta.
Okay. The first, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first part of my talk or answer will be those things that are on the surface, those things that we see. But we know how life is. There are things that are going on that are below the surface, you know, and it may go far down as 3 or 4 stages. But on the surface, what happened in Atlanta? They called the police. A guy was sleeping in his car. Whether he was on his way home and pulled over because he might have been drunk or something like that, that's his right to pull over, and that's the way they suggest that you carry yourself. To have an alternative driver if you're drunk, or to have a collective driver. And if you can't make it home, just pull over until you wake up again. So he was pulled over. He wasn't doing anything to anybody. He wasn't bothering anybody. He wasn't causing any trouble at all. Now, this thing about the police's approach to him, it appears that they approached him and then things begin to escalate. Now, they're talking about de-escalation in police affairs, but evidently it wasn't de-escalated, it was escalated, because why would it jump from stopping, or why would it jump from, number one, just approaching the car and talking to the man? He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't breaking any laws, right? How could that escalate from a man sleeping in his car or resting in his car in front of a Wendy's restaurant, right? And then the next thing you know, a man is being shot by the police. This has been happening in our country technically forever. What's happening now is these video cam, then the cameras from the police are beginning to record what's been going on in our neighborhood, whether it's driving while black, whether it's a parent, right, has to advise a black young man and woman when they're stopped by the police. Keep your hands on the wheel. Don't reach in your glove compartment for your registration. Put your hands on the wheel. Do not move or make any quick movements, right? Okay, and follow orders. When they tell you to roll down the window, roll down the window. If they tell you to turn the car off, turn the car off. Why do a parent have to advise a child about how to survive being stopped by the police? The other thing that's happening is, with black people, we've just been tired of this for decades. For white people, they're beginning to see it. You notice the demonstrations in America. Technically now, whites outnumber the blacks, almost in every case, almost in every demonstration. Sometimes 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. That's what's happening now. But our analysis of the situation now is, number one, black people have a right to live. We have a right not to get shot by the police. We have a right to all of the things that were encapsulated in the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution, first we have the Declaration of Independence. Those documents outline a level of freedom, so-called justice, and so-called rights that we have. One of those rights, the first one, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Why we don't have the right to life, right? Why do you have to kill us on a whim? Why do you have to have, why is it always white uneducated officers bullying and shooting and killing black people? Why? Okay. So our analysis is this, of the situation that happened in Atlanta. Sometimes a man may get tired of being hassled by the police. Now, the police don't have a right to shoot you because you don't act the way he wants you to do. They have gotten the laws so, the police departments now, the unions are so strong that you don't even have a right, according to them, to protest. Why did you stop me? Why are you here? Right? Okay, then they have a right, according to their guidelines, to make you submit to anything that they say. And if you don't, then you're going to be killed. You're going to be shot. You're going to be beaten up, right? You're going to be beaten up as a minimum. Now, I'm telling you this because I think I showed you a few pictures the other day, right? Look at this one right here. This is not too long ago in Oakland, California. This is Oakland, California. The government agent is this person right here, who has these police officers arresting me in Masjid al-Islam in Oakland, and if you see, I'm half dressed. In fact, when they came in, I was undressed. So I had to put clothes on as much as I could, even against their will. But now, and of course, I showed you this one. Right? Now let me explain. Not only are the police not learning anything, right, this time, but they didn't learn anything last time. They didn't learn anything from Ferguson. They didn't learn anything from Baltimore. They're not learning. Can you imagine at this time when there are millions of people in the street, they go and kill another black man, unjustified, in Atlanta? That means that these people don't have any regard for us as human beings at all. They just don't have any regard. Now later on, we'll talk about what we feel are our solutions. But I hope I answered the first question.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
When I saw some of these periphery images of events going on, bringing down statues of Robert E. Lee, bringing down statues of old heroes of the
Confederacy.
flag.
Yeah.
I lived in Virginia for a few years. I saw what racism was there. I saw fraternities with Confederate flags on them, and the boys taking a lot of pride in that, get dressed up in Civil War clothes. I saw all that near Richmond. Now, my question to you is, we see the breaking down of statues. I remember when the Shah statue was brought down, and the father of the Shah statue was brought down. Those were definite signs of something coming down. How much is this a new event, bringing down statues? And
They covered up, yes, they did. Okay, like you say, this is a sign of the times. In the United States, they've been on this tangent for the last few years about bringing down or getting rid of Confederate monuments. A few of them were erected in the South after the Civil War. Most of them were erected during the 50s and the 60s at the beginning of civil rights movements in the United States, when blacks started to stand up for themselves and demand voting rights, human rights, civil rights, and all of these. This is the period when they built or erected most of those statues at that time. In other words, 60 years ago is when they erected most of them. Okay, that was to make a statement about, we're not giving you nothing. There's a saying in the United States that the North won the Civil War, but the historical revisionist began to revive the Confederate side as a great honorable lost cause. We saw that in Birth of a Nation, 1915, 50 years after the Civil War. Birth of the Nation made the Confederacy and that rebellion, that tyranny, they made that an honorable, it was honorable, Birth of the Nation. And then they made the Ku Klux Klan, they made them the heroes, the people that purposely killed and frightened black people. That was the purpose of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, the statues today, some of it is very symbolic. So if white people love their South and their history, they should have museums where they put those statues. Or if they have a statue of Robert E. Lee, they should always also have a statue of Malcolm X right across the street, just as big as he is. Malcolm X or Frederick Douglass. So you'll get a real historical view. You see what I mean? In some cases, they shouldn't totally hide the history of the Civil War and antebellum period, pre-Civil War. They shouldn't hide that. That is a part of American history. But it should be equally explained. The revolution of the Civil War was rebellion against the United States of America. They were rebels. They used to refer to them as Johnny Reb, you know. They were rebels. They were rebelling against the established order. Over 671,000 people were killed during the Civil War. They lost as many people in one battle, like Gettysburg, as they lost in Korea in 1950 and 51, and 52. They lost almost as many as they lost in the whole Vietnam War in one or two battles in the Civil War, right? What was so honorable about that, right? So that's they say the North won the official war, but the storyline, the South won that. Now, black people are saying, and even Southern people, you know, they're having demonstrations down South. And those demonstrations down South have white people in it too. This young generation of white people are not, well, there's a large number, I'll put it that way, of this generation of white Americans from the South that are not traveling the same road that their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. They are more, let's say, constitutionalized. They want freedom and justice and equality for everybody. They don't think it's right to shoot black people down in the street for nothing. Right? They don't feel that's right. That means there's a big step forward here. You see? So in the midst of all of this present demonstrations and all that, there's some evolution going on. There's some evolution or some evolutionary process that's going on. I don't have time, but sometime later in another program, I will talk about some of the things that's going on below the surface. That means some groups, organizations, and movements that are manipulating a lot of the things that's going on right now. But there's some things that are happening that are very progressive. The people are saying, enough is enough. That's mainly the message. Enough is enough. And we have a right to live.
There's another comparison to what happened to Iran. Is before the revolution succeeded, they would have 40 days to 40 days where one person would be martyred on the 14th day.
Arba'in, yeah.
Arba'in. You would have the Shah's soldiers would go crazy and kill a couple of people, 2 more martyrs. And this went on for a year until things escalated and accelerated into a full throttle movement. I was thinking this morning when I was watching the news that just 3 weeks after George Floyd was cut down,
Right.
and we have this gentleman who got killed innocently, and just when they buried George Floyd, this thing started. It's
Right.
as if there's a hikmat. There's something other than what we can control and moving things forward and keeping the fire burning. What do you think of that?
Here's what, let me regress for a minute. And we have talked about this a lot here. Do you remember that every year now, during Arba'in, there are 20 million, 25 million people going to Najaf and Karbala.
Right.
Okay. What we said here years ago, we said this, and the brothers here can verify it. We said the people, the American government and the West do not understand what's going on. Neither do the people that are participating. There's something special getting ready to happen. What was it? When Qasem Soleimani was martyred, right, on January the 3rd, everything that he was living for and working for almost manifested itself right away. 5, 6, 7 million people were out in the streets at every city, at every place. The solidarity between Iran and Iraq was solidified. The people in Iran, it seems like that their minds and their spirit, although they were much older now, along with their modern children, was back to the beginning of the revolution in Iran by attitude. And it showed in everything that was happening. My personal opinion is this is one of the catalysts that helps the Islamic Republic survive year in and year out with 40 years of sanctions, right? That with 40 years of sanctions, our belief is the reality there is no period, no country in history, no people in history that had to survive so many consistent fitnas one after another. The war between Iran and Iraq, Iran was attacked. Some cities were so destroyed, just imagine that they just rebuilt cities next to some of the cities. You look at Khorramshahr and those other cities that were leveled, but the Islamic Republic survived. The other miracle, you have to understand the importance of the Islamic Republic in modern times. Where would Lebanon be without the Islamic Republic? Where would Syria be without the Islamic Republic? Where would Yemen be, right, without the Islamic Republic? In other words, the Islamic Republic is the focal point of modern times. Now, I want to say something that I hope it clicks with everybody. What's happening in Iran and what's happening here? Iran is the focal point of world hatred or Western hatred, but at the same time, it is a symbol of possibilities of what can happen, what the human being can do, what human evolution really is, where a country that didn't have the wherewithal, it didn't even have, our troops at the beginning of the war, September 22nd, 1980, didn't even know how to use the weapons that was left over from the Shah's time. We had to learn that. We had to mobilize. We had to develop ourselves to the point now that Iran is number 4 or 5 in drones, I think, in the world. Iranian missile technology is increasing so fast